Hey, how's it going? Uh-oh, I forgot to move that. I keep a little something over the camera when I'm not using it. So, well, oh, I guess this is an opportunity to show you my signs. Actually, wait, I think I can do better. See, the green ones say stuff, and then the rest of it says some stuff. Okay, so I had been, sorry, I just need to hang this properly. I have been sort of like catching a whiff of something, and for like a couple of months, and it coincided with that Diddy stuff happening where, well, shoot. If you don't know about it, all you gotta do is go on YouTube and put in like Diddy, 50 Cent, Jaguar Wright. It's gonna pop up with a bunch of stuff about a lot of people in the rap industry and in the entertainment industry. So I'm on that for a while and I'm going, the story is just icky and bad enough anyway. But I'm looking at it and going, okay, so this is not the first instance of this kind of thing that I've come across in life. And, but this particular story and all of there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of channels on YouTube talking about it. And at this point, they're basically recycling each other. It's pretty funny. But I have been learning some things about, like, myself and other black people that I was only marginally aware of. And then, like, because, like, I don't have a lot of people in my life that are black people that I spend time with, so I'm not, like aware of too much of like that culture. So the whole thing, watching those, including the comment section, has been highly enlightening. And it sort of cracked open something that I guess has bothered me for a long time. And I have been wanting to talk about it. And then some things happened that sort of affirmed the things that I was thinking, but also gave me intelligence in a way of like, these were like newly like sensed things. Like I got like some flashes of insight. I had like some visions. And so I'm not saying like, I'm saying this is different from like whatever I was getting from looking at the stuff and computing with my brain. You know, this was stuff coming in from a different place. And while I was grappling with how to approach saying what was on my mind about this, one of the insights I got was, you have wondered why people don't talk about stuff when asked, and you know that they know things, and they will say that, well, they'll say in various ways that it's not the time and place to say that, or maybe I'm not the person to say it. And when they do that, I'm like disappointed, because I know they know something I want to know, and they're not going to tell me. And, but it's like, sometimes you can't say stuff, and I was already hesitating, so did I put my shirt on backwards? Nope. I was already hesitating with how to approach, like, saying it, and like, the insight is this is one of those times where you don't say it, like, you know it, but it's just not for me to say. Damn it. So, but at the same time, I'm kind of relieved, because I was a little afraid. It's like, maybe I'll come out with it later, but I just know that it would like hurt feelings and piss people off, and that is just not what I ever want to do, and it would not be the point of me saying what I want to come out and say, but I'm not going to come out and say. So it's about something that people have to come to all on their own. And it's sort of like me going, but you know this, and why aren't you thinking that? And that is always like a fruitless, pursuit. So not gonna do that. But I took some notes, and you're gonna hear them. Okay, so I started getting a whiff of something when all the Diddy when all the Diddy shit started happening. I also felt something similar regarding Kanye West. Another, do I want to even go there subject. I had a dream with him in it several years ago, and he's always been a curiosity since. And no, I'm not going to share what the dream was, but it was not sexual. Don't look. Anyway, so it's been a curiosity since, and he's not a quiet, humble celebrity. Talent, I don't think much of him. My name, I'm sorry, this is not nice, just a warning, but I'm sure I could say something worse. My name for him is Black Homer Simpson, oblivious and crude and kind of dumb. As much fuss is made over him, and I feel like his personality and his actions just make me cringe and wince. Like I don't see what the big deal is. So the other thing is the black reaction. Oh shoot, that is the part I was not going to talk about. Oh yeah. Can't. Never mind. But the thing about West, though, is he is just like this amalgamation of all this weird shit. He, as far as I know of his bio, his mom was a college professor. I don't remember hearing things about the father. I thought he was a private school kid. So fast forward to now, and those videos that I was talking about, he began to enter into the story because he had stuff to say, as always. And so he's saying all this stuff about the other people that are involved with this business with Diddy, and evidently he wasn't, but he was. There's pictures of them all together, so from the outside you definitely, especially me, don't know what the F is happening. And then some people attended these gatherings, and I guess there were after parties that were many X-rated and criminal and devil worship and just all of this, what? But it does talk about it, and then why it happens. But basically it's a deal with the devil type thing. So there's something I want to say about that too, but I'm going to stick with West for the moment. So he's saying all these guys with Diddy that are either they're talking when they could have talked before. And I say, people will say that a lot. Well, if it was me, I would have, but you really don't know. In this particular situation, with Diddy, it's you can't say what you or anybody else would do in the situation, especially because you don't know what the situation was. You don't know the drivers for what brought the people together with him and his cast of people. I just think there's so many dynamics at play that, especially from the outside, and especially when you're not talking about yourself, I just feel like this is one of those situations that is uncharted for almost everyone. Like, I don't think you can, like, just be all, yeah, I would go in there and do this and that. We're wrong about that stuff when it's like, you got to talk to your toddler's teacher. You're like, I'm going to tell him this and that. And then you get in front of the teacher and you're just deferent and humble, and you don't say what you were going to say. Or if you do say, you don't say all of it. And you certainly don't say it with the attitude that you had before you got face to face with the person. So all of that, like judging people for what they did and all of that, it's like, I get it, but at the same time, the reason why I'm objecting is because at the same time, a lot of the, and this is mainly the comment section, but also people in the videos, they're like judging the people so much, but they're like, so much like religion talk comes out of them, and it's like, well, isn't like one of the big ones, judge not lest ye be judged? And like everybody just judging away. So I'm like looking at that, and I also am judging too, but on different things than the prevailing problem that people have there, which the people in it, in the videos, and the people in the comment section, I'm just saying, there's more to the whole thing than what everybody else is worried about. It's not really about who's gay or who did what to who. There's a whole overarching structure, and that what everyone there is concerned about really only concerns the black people involved, the fans, the black people paying attention to the black people stuff. That's not all of society, and this is something that is happening to all of society, and it's just one strain of this nastiness, this gross viscous filth that has just sort of seeped into every crack and crevice and opening and opportunity in society to be corrupt and to tempt us to do evil and corrupt things to each other, to like anything worth anything, you know, like if it's the earth and people need it to live on or grow, like eat the food and the water that is grown there and occurs on the planet, if it can be ruined by this particular group of people, they'll have, sure, let's just do it. Because before this, I was watching something, as I always do, and it was a Cryon lecture about the battle between good and evil, and the title of it was, Is There a Battle Between Good and Evil? And I didn't watch all of it. I planned to, but I was like so inspired to say what I have to say here that I've been leading up to for 2 days and couldn't quite get it out, so I didn't do anything. I didn't watch all of the Cryon video, but he's talked about it before, the channeler, Lee Carroll. And what Cryon has said is that there is a battle of good and evil, but it's like mainly based inside of each of us, and then however that's going is going to reflect in what we're doing. Like I would say the Diddy people, their battle, they're on like the devil's side, because I guess like that's, and this is not unusual to this type of group activity, but they're devil worshippers. And so you know, biblically, there's a whole thing about the good and evil and the devil, but there's lots of details that don't get talked about as much, or that we forget about it. And so, again, like, I don't think there's a red guy with horns and a pointed tail, but I do think that we become inhabited with the spirit of evil, and that equates to me to all of this devil stuff. So, whatever, the devil worshippers are doing their thing, but they're each other like a continuous self-causal loop. You know, it's not like the devil making their stuff happen; it's them making that happen. If they can levitate or make something else levitate or something like that, that is something that humans have the ability to do. it takes practice and you have to work up to it, but we just have forgotten how. You know, it's a big subject, and I'm obviously not going to try and talk about it all right now, but from what I've said, you could just look stuff up, you know? So, to me, like, even if there's something spooky like a levitation, I'm not that scared by it because I know that not everyone can do it. It takes a lot of work, and many of us just don't have that kind of discipline in the Western world. But go somewhere in the the Far East and talk to a monk, and it's pretty well known that some of those guys can levitate or handle extreme cold water, you know, and just be all fine. They have incredible mastery over what the human body can do. And so, again, like the spooky stuff, I'm just not that worried about. And also, while there's not like the devil or demons, I don't think that's really a thing. There are trickster spirits, and those are pretty well known in the indigenous community. On whatever continent you choose, there's some version of the trickster spirit. So, those are opportunists like people, or there's like dead people that are opportunists, you know, ghosts, and they have abilities to things or powers to do things that we generally as humans don't have the ability to do. They can just so easily know our thoughts and you use them against us, and that's what I think is going on with hauntings and that. So you could think that that's scary too, but the only things that can hurt you are what you think are going to hurt you, because you make it more real. You make it a reality. If you think something's going to hurt you, you're doing it to yourself. So, anyway, all of that's going on, and it's not just the black group, but I think that one is getting all the publicity now because it's going to be the sacrifice, which fits into that whole reality. Like, it's so, I don't know. Yeah, there is a battle of good and evil that's happening with us. And then the Bible talks about all of the ways the devil, or what I call like the spirit of the devil, is kind of, it's like it's been prophesied, like how it will become so pervasive, and it has like that negative evil influence. We don't even really notice it, but like think about that documentary Quiet on Set about the Nickelodeon, you know, child abuse ring thing, or just reality in Hollywood. And like Hollywood has all races and all manner of people from culture, and it happens there, and it happens in its own little districts and like, you know, groups that have specialties of nasty and gross stuff. It's like a part of everything anymore. Like the reason why like we have prices so bad and pollution so bad, and no matter how much we protest and demonstrate that it's gonna like get into everything and, you know, cause like pollution of food and water, but they just do it anyway and treat the protesters like garbage and dirt, like they're the bad people, and they're like trying to keep us all like alive and healthy. So that whole dynamic has a tinge of that negative spirit to me, that evil spirit. And oh god, if you look at a documentary on the A&E network called The Secrets of Playboy, it talks about Hugh Hefner, Playboy magazine, but mainly Playboy Mansion, and who went there and what went on with who there. I could only stand to watch season 1, or like one season, I finished it, and then I was going through looking for something to watch, and I came across that channel again, and I saw there was more, and I was like, why does there need to be more? I think the point was made. But a lot of women went through there and survived it, and they have valid things to say about it. And it was gross, and it was really hard to listen to, and it was disappointing but not surprising about a lot of the men that went there. And like A&E, The Secrets of Playboy Mansion, informative, gross, ugly, but if you want to know like about how the devil is all through society, just like the Bible kind of predicted, that's what it looks like. Or like the corporations, like the way they work the government, and the government is not like really buying for the people anymore. It's buying for the rich people and the corporations and their representatives and the lobbyists. And those are the things that make it so hard for like the average person, and you gotta like work for these people and use their products, and that to me is this pervasive evil too, like metaphorically. But that's kind of like the way the Bible works. Like you're presented with all these stories, but some of it is like what it says, like these people went to this place and said these things and this happened. Sometimes it is just that, but other times it gets into these metaphors, and we have to learn how to recognize not just those when they are happening in the Bible in order to understand it, because without that, for years I didn't understand that component of comprehending the thing with the metaphor and the symbology. And also I had to learn a bunch of that stuff too, and then all of a sudden ding 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 things started to click. So it warned us of all of these things, and if we can't recognize it there, how the heck are we going to recognize it in reality? And it's all over right in our face. Like child beauty pageants, why do we got to dress them up like women? Why do we have to dress them like little grown-up hookers? There's something wrong with that. Really wrong. And if you want to know what, look at it closely and then go look and see what the Bible says. It will tell you things that like, oh yeah, that's wrong. And someone said like one of the best things that I have ever seen about like taking the Bible seriously and what it advises you to do and not to do, some of it is not still applicable, and that's fine. Times change, people change, technology happens, like, but we act like, oh my god, it's the devil. No, come on, like you have phones in a car. They did not have that in the Bible. You gotta like think how that's gonna affect the application of what it's saying, because it does. But it's a timeless document if you know how to read the symbology and the metaphor and think about it in the way that I was just talking about. And that took like a lifetime, even though I had not as much as a lot of people, but I did have 5 years of pretty hardcore religious instruction at one point in my life. It leaves a mark on you. But I think that you can go from like cradle to university with the education and still miss everything. Because what else is going on is life and change. So I don't know, I don't know that I have a conclusion really, except that like the devil is everywhere and in everything, and it's kind of like our job, I guess, like not that we have to report to anyone but ourselves really, but go right, left, or center, good, bad, or neither. It's our choice to figure that out. Well, it's our choice, but also like part of what we're here to do. If you're one of those people that wondered, why am I here? What was it for? What am I for? I never wondered those things, but I get it. I get why you would. And I'm curious. I learned about it. So, there's so much going on, and like, as much as I would like to talk about it and discuss, I think some things, like, it's either not for me to say, or it's just not time to be said or something. So I just wanted to say those things. There was a conclusion, but of course it's escaping me right now. But I did pull some cards, so if I talk about those, maybe it'll come back. So I pulled 3 from, I didn't really clear any space at all, from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. This one. And they are the number 28 card, Hollow Bone. That's a bone flute there, made out of antler. Where's my indicator? This right here. And it's made from hollowed out bone. I don't know. I guess there was some reason that I needed to explain that for you. And 28 is 8 and 2 add up to 10 with the numerology. So, and then the next card I chose was Passage, or sorry, The Crossing. Passage, okay, kind of the same thing. And the subtitle is, oh shoot, sorry, this card has a subtitle as well, and it's called Teachability. And I wonder if it isn't like what I was just talking about, like being able to see the evil, like, all around you. You can often avoid it. I mean, we often do. Not everyone gets sucked into doing bad things and thinking bad ideas are good ones, and harming people with that intent. That's the case less often than we think. Although disturbingly, I did read that everybody passes 36 serial killers. I can't remember now in what passage of time it was, a day, a week, or your lifetime, but all of that is too many. I don't want them near me. I don't want them doing that to people. Like, that's not cool, man. Have you not heard? That's not cool. So, probably not done with this, as we just found. So yeah, the next card is the number 54 card. 5 and 4 add up to 9. And it's The Crossing, not Passage. But it's just interesting that it said that particular word choice. People seem to have become unaware that there are thesauruses out there, and they're not dinosaurs, they're books. And they help you with words, like knowing that a word could have more than one meaning, or a word can be, with the same meaning, can be said different ways. So maybe not exactly the same meaning. Maybe there's some nuance. I'm just saying, not everything is black and white. Not everything just means one thing only ever. Like, life is not like that. And descriptions are not like that. And you need words to make the description. So, that. Okay, so The Crossing, and the subtitle is Initiation. So this, to me, is talking about ceremony or ritual. And you would use these objects for specific ceremonies. Specific ceremonies or rituals. The crossing and initiation indicates that you have had this and passed the bar that you needed to, or you're about to. because it does say initiation, so passage in progress. You know, I had pointed out before that there is not a person on here. There's not even really anything to indicate that there is a person, although it looks like there's a dark line there, and I have thought, like, the person dropped their stick because they didn't need it, their staff, their walking stick. They didn't need it anymore, and when I started to say that, I just had a little vision of someone, like, bent over, like, struggling to walk, and they gotta use the stick, and they got through the initiation, like, in the middle of the bridge, and all of a sudden, they were healed! They dropped the staff and just walked on off. So, passing the test. More ceremony and ritual in this number 34 card. 34, 3 and 4 add up to 7. And the Lay of the Land card has the subtitle of Ancestral Wisdom. So again, what are you doing? What are you learning for? What are you learning from this particular set of lessons and these teachers? Ancient ceremony and ritual, things that have been done and held in a certain way to achieve a certain objective. So this person, let's say, has passed all of the tests, except, like, maybe this is the final one, or not even a test, like maybe just like the culmination ceremony, and they're by themselves, as you can see. There's just one person there. And they're in this place that, these are like giant CDs to me, you know, like they have information on them, and there's ways to open them, like there's something like a lock or a path to even walk on that could do something to operate the CD. I'm just calling it like this is not really compact though. How about a GD, a great disc? But I feel like they have information, and perhaps part of their ritual ceremony that they're celebrating the culmination of, after they've done like all of the steps across the bridge of learning about all of this lay of the land. That's, yeah, woohoo, that's where they're at. So I also pulled 2 cards from the angel number deck. You gotta look at that. And they are 1212, which, when I first learned about the number 1212, I learned that it was mirroring. So, like reflecting. These cards have a subtitle. Not very, striking artistically, but they're informative. So it has the subtitle of Persistence. And I will read the paragraph at the bottom. There's some keywords in the middle. I may or may not avail myself of them. Depends if they have anything to do with what I end up saying. So anyway, oh happy day, an ample opportunity related to your life's purpose is just around the corner. You're done. So what's next? Take immediate action once it pops up. Of course, a lovely partnership or an epic romance is also in the cards. Well, that seems very like fluffy and happy and nice after all the heavy stuff I was talking about. But here's a keyword: shift. Part of these rituals and ceremonies that are so old is perhaps you learn about things like what I was talking about, like the devil worship cults, and the way they're using them to like make society a part of the plan, like the tool to use against good over evil, or that bad could use over good, and that's evil. Leave good alone. I don't. I know there has to be evil because we live in a polar world, but doesn't mean I have to like it. It does mean and ugly things. It tricks you, it lies to you, it tempts you. Yeah, we have a tendency to give in to temptation, and I think that it knows that, the intelligence of evil, and I think it's a jerk for doing that. What the heck does that say? Oh, skateboard stuff. Please go away now, though. So, shift. It's over. Like, now you know about all of that ugly stuff, and you know what to do in the face of it, so you can shift. Enthusiasm, gratitude that's over. Contentment, now I know. New experiences on the way, every day, every moment that passes. So the other card was the 0550 card with the subtitle of Eye Candy. And the paragraph reads, get some fresh air or call some of your pals over. Take a look around you. There is so much natural beauty waiting to be discovered. Either you will soon become involved in an exciting new project, or you will go out on a date. That's 2 dates and a partnership. Put your charisma to use everywhere. Spread your charm around. So, getting back for a moment to the really horrible sounding world of evil that we live in. Like I said, it's been prophesied, and I think we're there now. But the thing to do, as I always say, is mind your garden, keep your head down, stick to your business, do your work. Like, if we don't participate in the evil stuff, then we're good. In fact, the more people that don't give in to the temptation that evil presents, because it'll take you bad places, like it will give you what you want. This reminds me, one time I was watching, I think MTV or TMZ, I think it was TMZ, and it was about Rihanna, and she was at some festival in, where's she from, Barbados, I think. So she was in some big festival there, and she's in a crowd with all these people, and they're like dancing, and there's music. Like, it's like a party is happening all around there, like a festival. So these kids are like all excited to see her, and I didn't hear all of the conversation, I don't think, but what I recall in particular is her telling these kids, like, yeah, like, I worship the devil because you gotta wait around forever before anything that Jesus says is gonna happen. And I was like, whoa. And like, and she's like at this place just saying it out in public, and no one around is reacting. It was loud, but the kids could hear her. She didn't have like a microphone or a megaphone. She was just standing there talking to a crowd of kids. And I just thought, well, okay, so I guess she's one of them. Like, in the industry, I guess, all of them, I guess, entertainment, probably others too. Like, I think the universities have some stuff going on that's not above board. Well, anyway, so she said that, and I was like, okay, I don't want to get into an argument about it. You do what you want to do, but like, I don't think that's cool to be like advertising to kids like that. But Christianity does it. I don't know about the other religions so much. I don't know that they're that big on promotion like evil and Christianity are, but they got this whole drama going on anyway. So there's that. I have to disagree with her though, because I would have agreed, not about the devil part, but I would have agreed about the waiting around forever for something to happen. But the thing is that the stuff prophesied started happening way back then. We just don't count it. And I just realized this recently because someone pointed it out online. Those prophecies have been coming true, like all the ones leading all the way up to the end times, since the beginning times, apparently. And we just collectively didn't notice that was what was happening. So that is my argument against. And also, for her guy, you get the good stuff, but then you gotta pay, and you gotta pay. It's not like it's not gonna take it out of you good or nice. And we can put ourselves through all of those cycles. We don't need the whole devil thing. But if that's the frosting you like on your life cake, go for it. Me, I like to keep my head down and just do the work and mind my beeswax. I mean, you can be interested in other people and other things, but when you start becoming a Karen, or you start becoming an Alito on a court that's not supposed to be having opinions about stuff, their personal opinion should not tinge their judicial decisions. But they're human, and they do, and that's coming out. Some kind of stuff was going on there too. It seems like you cannot get ahead in this world without having to pay somebody some really deeply unpleasant price. If you don't stick between some restrictions, you'll get stuff, I guess, but then ultimately it just seems like it's not worth it. You end up, it seems like what I'm seeing is that it's just hazardous to your health. More than it needs to be. Life already is, so I don't want to join worshiping something that it even tells you in cartoons. I don't know, I haven't seen it, 40s, Looney Tunes, that made a joke of it even, and that's something that is prophesied. The devil will make you think it's not a big deal, you can joke about it, but really it has no sense of humor. That spirit of evil, and it will come back to bite you. The story has played out over and over, and it sounds so simple, and it sounds like such a fable, but if you take it in those literal terms with the Bible, then stuff starts making sense. I know, it's weird. The Bible is weird. It's a funky, crazy book with stuff in it that you're just what the hell? But the context in most books is everything. And also comprehension. So, and that makes sense. Just you have to graduate your intelligence as you age in order to understand more complex things. So some books you need to study before you can read the book and understand the book. There was another person, and I can't think of it right now. Anyway, there wasn't a person. What was that? What am I doing? There was another thing I wanted to briefly mention before I close up here. And that was that I made a video yesterday because I just am kind of fed up with interacting with people, and I don't understand why they behave the way they do. I do in a way, but I feel like these things, the phones and the computers, have made us they've atrophied our social skills. Oh, okay, but later. And so we forget how to act around each other. And I don't know, maybe COVID broke people more, but I know that I have felt socially feral because I'm kind of isolated. I don't live where I grew up. I don't live where there are people I grew up with. In other words, I don't live at home. I live in a complete other state. And my health kind of limits my activity, and other things do. So, I mean, I just have a lot of solo time, and my friend base is light. And why did I start talking about that? Oh, well, anyway, I'm online a lot, and I'm not like, I understand that there's risks in talking to people. In fact, today, I'm so pissed. I signed up for some surveys because I do other surveys and I make a little bit of money. Nothing, not even enough to report. And I usually don't even try to get money. I usually get like Amazon cards, just to get the things that my budget doesn't actually cover. So I had signed up for some new ones, and then immediately my phone was like, you have 11 viruses. And I was like, freaking Facebook, such a toilet. You can't click on stuff there without getting some kind of ick. So I have to wait till tomorrow until I can get to the bank and put money on my charge card, because I have money, but I don't have... it's a hassle. I have to wait till tomorrow. And then I can get rid of the viruses, but I don't want to turn down like a bunch of friend requests. And I, of course, am more selective than I think I probably made it sound in my video yesterday, where I was just kind of ranting and raving because I want to be treated a certain way, and the only way for people to know that is for you to tell them, because I've wasted a bunch of my life waiting for people to know the right thing to do. And I feel like it's not like I have to, it's not a mystery, I maybe it is, but when I was younger, it seemed like people were taught the same kind of stuff by their parents. And these are older people I'm talking about now, and then they got a computer, so it's like, I've seen what it looks like. A lot of people just have former portions of their life erased, like they just don't remember, like they behave in a completely different way from the way they did before we had the things. And that is that they want to meet you and go immediate to like deep stuff, and I'm like, whoa, I do not. Because I don't know you well enough to know what your stuff is. I want to know that. I want to know you better. I want to know what you're about, what you're into, before any deep stuff tries to happen. Because what I find is like, oh my God, I can skip all these steps and they're right there, and I can just have my dick out and say what I want to say, basically, is what I feel like is happening. I don't appreciate that. And I feel like we all know better, and these things are like a license to behave like a complete ass, to say things you just wouldn't say in person. Also, the doing things you wouldn't do in person. Am I the only one that notices that? Because like a lot of people are just that way, and they don't even try not to, or seem to notice, or is there something wrong with me? Anyway, I got rules. I spent enough time being nice and waiting for other people to like catch on or remember like how they're supposed to act. I don't know why things change that way. I don't know why people thought it was a good idea to ditch like values, social values, or I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I just missed a bunch of stuff locked up here by myself. Just working away at stuff that is not affecting whatever's going on up there. Anyway, I think that's it. I think I've said my say. Thank you and good night.